ready for some black sheep?
Exercise is live!
Black Sheep Bravo, broadcasting from red zone to green zone and everywhere in between. Always armed.
Welcome to another show of Black Sheep Bravo, broadcasting from an undisclosed location and on Armed Forces Radio Network. I am Spaniard, and my fire team today with me is Trouble, Crash, and the Technical Ninja Max. We got a really cool show for you guys today. So, how's everybody doing today?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome.
I'm awake. I'm ready to go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you must be burning the candle, man.
I'm still drunk from last night.
Well, what did we have?
I had a rum and coke for like the first time in a long time.
Nice.
No lemon or anything fancy like that, but it was just, it's what I had left in the
Actually,
old bar.
lime.
I had a dark whiskey, 40-year-old aged, charred barrels. I can't say the name without giving them a plug, but it was really tasty, and I actually brought a to-go cup with me this morning.
I see. It looks more like a urinal sample.
I won't tell you where I got that cup from.
No, I played good. I didn't do anything last night, anything exciting. So, I played the parent role last night.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Somebody's got to be responsible around here.
Yeah, I mostly play the playing role until about 9 o'clock when they're in bed.
I'm in bed by about 8:30. That's the parent side of me.
Good. I'm not the only one, man. Because I thought 8:30 rolls around and I'm already nodding off.
I wish that was the case, but I can't. I got family time, and then now it's time for homework, or now it's time for me to relax and kind of wind down from the day.
It is hard. It is hard. Well, you guys are students too, aren't you? You guys go to school still.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's fun having a job and this and go to school and family life, everything that's going on, like Cub Scouts. Ugh.
What do you guys major in? Trouble. What do you major in? Trouble.
I'm majoring in advertising with a minor in public relations.
Sounds boring.
Yes. Yes.
Just like accounting.
But the idea of producing a Super Bowl commercial, that's what attracted me to advertising.
Make it rain.
I want to bring back the Budweiser frogs.
Nice. I like it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that.
Remember when they tried
what's
going-
up? The what's up?
Oh,
that was back in the
Remember
day.
when they
What's
Remember when they tried to move on to making what were those, chameleons or something that tried doing that?
I thought that was Geico.
No,
They plagiarized Geico. They stole the
flicked Geico.
chameleon.
Something like that.
I don't know.
So Max, what's your major?
I am actually majoring in broadcasting, so this fits very well into my
Hey,
major.
What do
Nice.
you know?
And I'm not going to school at all. So
Why is that? Is that by choice?
no, my image of the university and campus is like the modern day Forrest Gump. The kumbaya, the long dresses, the anti-warmongers. It's for their safety. I just avoid the campus altogether. I've done a couple of speaking engagements there, and I just avoid it altogether. So.
See, I didn't have a problem with that. Trouble, how about you? Do you have any problems with some of these?
I just have problems with the young ones that think they're going to live forever and that school is just the fun and games. And it's not. And I wish I had finished school a long time ago, but you know what? You're never too old to learn a new trick. And this old dog is going to learn new tricks.
Weren't you a professional roller skater before school? What'd you do between the military and school?
I wore.
Can you tell us? Can you say it on the air?
A capri pant model.
I was a capri pant model in roller skates and still hold the award for nicest calves in capri pants and roller skates.
You're pretty confident.
Hey. Those calves got me places.
Yeah. Did you get a lot of people talking smack to you when you wore those?
Heck no. They saw the chest and then they saw how big my calves were and they're like, I don't want to get those calves wrapped around my neck and choked out like that. No.
So all that airborne shuffling you did?
Well, speaking of talking smack, it looks like North Korea's in the news again talking smack. And Crash, or Trouble, actually, you got this story on it, don't you?
Yeah, North Korea is claiming it's going to, or at least can, wipe out Manhattan with a hydrogen bomb. Kim Jong-un, he's a special one, saying that his hydrogen bomb is bigger than the one developed by the Soviet Union and he can actually launch a missile and actually make it all the way to Manhattan. First of all, what do you guys think the strategic idea behind bombing Manhattan would be? What would that really accomplish if, and that's a strong if he could get a bomb over to Manhattan?
I don't think at all that this is a actual threat. I think this is trying to keep his own people in line. I think this is almost a rallying around the flag act of, saber rattling. I don't think he's actually. I can't imagine that he is that dumb that he would think that he could hurt us from, especially at that range. Like, I mean, they've said that, like, he can at most reach, California, the West Coast, maybe Alaska, but there's no way he can reach us there.
So fictional warmongering, basically, to keep his
So,
people
yeah.
to keep following his lead, or
like to keep his people's faith in him, so that he doesn't have a right. Because I'm sure he's got. I can't imagine his people, as controlled as they are, can even stay that submissive.
Yeah, they can't see anything on the outside world.
He's got to be like constantly on the brink of like mutiny or something.
My question is, are these his ideas, or does he have people telling him, "Hey, man,
little think tanks"?
yeah, like, hey, dude, why don't you
Little pot smokers.
say you're gonna
Opium.
a bunch
Opium.
of
That's
opium
North
guys.
Korea.
Say, hey, dude,
If he does, it's none of the generals that his father had, because I mean he sentenced one of his generals to death not too terribly long ago, and this is all his bravado.
this doesn't look very, I don't know.
Well, yeah, he's
Braggadocious.
Braggadocious? Is that a word?
Braggadocious.
I see a little fat kid that has probably got picked on too much, and now he's
he's compensating.
Well, I noticed the website that they made this major war breakthrough announcement on was a really odd choice, because the topics range from like rabbit farming to domestically made school backpacks, and obviously
That's your cup of tea right there.
that is. I definitely read the rabbit farming report, because I can use those things back on the homestead, But yeah, I look at that, and it just baffles me that anybody can believe this outside of his country.
Well, how well they control the propaganda and the flow of information in that country is amazing. Yeah, I'll give him that. He controls his country with an absolute iron fist. You're talking everything from communication, television, radio, internet. We can barely control the internet around here.
I know a couple of our politicians that are envious of that control.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And they can't stop sending stupid emails to each other.
Oh, there we go. That's
But this
our
is 2
topic.
weeks in a row, Kim Jong-un's topic of discussion here in our undisclosed location, and I think we're just going to have to keep an eye on it. Where I feel bad is the guys sitting in South Korea right now, military that are on the DMZ. They just got, I think they're midway through that exercise right now with 300,000 South Korean soldiers, 15,000 U.S. soldiers.
Now that could be the issue, if anything, because that's just.
Well, I think that is what provoked this.
It's what provoked it, but he's also been saying inflammatory statements like this for years. Ever since he took over from his father, he's just been one inflammatory statement after the other.
And it's funny, he always does it towards the end of these exercises, so his people look at him like he caused the exercise to end early.
Yeah.
Yay, Kim Jong-un!
That's brilliant political strategy on his part.
I'll say it again,
Yeah.
he's still an idiot.
No, he's an idiot, but he's an idiot who
But he's got some
probably
awesome hair,
feels
though.
he has a lot to prove. He feels he's probably living in his father's shadow still,
And after Gaddafi's gone and everybody else is gone, he's one of the how many real dictators are left in the world
he's
that
the big guy
are
on
just
campus.
he's probably the big guy on campus now as far as.
He's that guy that drives that big diesel pickup truck, and then
No,
has the
he's
huge
driving a short bus.
the huge hitch on the back of
He
it.
needs a ladder
He's-
to get out of it.
He's making up for a lack of something else.
He's driving a short bus. I'll give him that much. That's
Well, talking about more attacks here, we got a story here that Crash is
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Another Al Qaeda's back in the news again.
Yeah, it's basically on the Ivory Coast. Al Qaeda attacked heavily armed gunmen, killed 16 people. The Grand Bassam Resort, 14 of which were civilians, 2 of which were Special Forces troops, and they were heard screaming Allah Akbar. And, here we are in another area of the world, and Al Qaeda is still actively going.
they are unlike Kim Jong-un, a constant, legitimate threat.
To everybody, worldwide.
Worldwide.
This is a resort.
I think this is them trying to get their name back out there because they know ISIS is dominating the news feed right now. They are dominating the Middle East right now. They are trying to regain their foothold, their
so
power.
you're telling me that we have terrorist organizations that are basically, for lack of a better term, measuring swords.
I think so. That's what it sounds like.
Pretty much. And in this attack, they hit 3 hotels in the former French colonial capital. Basically, it's, if you can picture it, a lot of Westerners, per se, from the European countries, and politicians, civil specialists, those kind of people that go to tourists there to hang out. So it was a prime target.
I'm curious to know do they have meetings and say, hey, we haven't been in the news lately. We need to do something here to get us back in the limelight here. Do you guys have any suggestions? Ahmed, what do you got? You know, that's what I see.
I'm sure they have to. They have to create an image because through the news media, that's how they get their name out there. That's how they get their recruiting. That's how, I mean, they have to seem bigger than they are. They're going to get everyone who's leaving ISIS. They're going to get all these radicalized Islamists who don't necessarily believe in the extreme that the ISIS is going to, but they want to, put their name on something.
You know what would be nice? If they would just all get together, collectively stand in one uniform so we can finish
Just mow them all down?
Just mow them all down.
Yeah, put them all together in one
But,
spot.
I mean, instead of bickering who's bigger and badder of a terrorist organization, get together collectively so we can actually go heads up.
They're scared to do that. They're afraid to do that. They feed off of targets like this. Look at the Paris attacks. They feed off the ability to hit a crowd that doesn't have the ability to defend themselves. They're too scared to hit us head on, toe to toe. Old school war. Bayonets.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
And they're not going to fight. I mean, they're going to fight each other within reason, but it's going to be like gang wars kind of fighting. They're fighting for territory, if nothing else. They're not fighting because their views are slightly different, but they're on the same path,
So those three key points. Who's got the bigger sword? Power, and then you're saying geographical control.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and it's all turning into recruiting, so I can recruit more.
Yeah, it's all manpower.
Wow.
They're all competing for manpower.
Just collectively get together. We'll have a straight up fight. We'll win. You'll lose.
What's going on? Is there something going on in Syria right now?
Just across the wire here, I got Al Qaeda seizing weapons out of a base in Syria. So some militants belonging to Al Qaeda and allied jihadists are doing some damage over in Syria. They're actually trying to make some damage over there. It looks like a report that there were seven Division 13 fighters that died in that clash. And for those of you guys that don't know, the FSA division out there in Syria that are some freedom fighters that are trying to seize control and gain back their country. But again, Al Qaeda is trying to get their name back in the limelight again.
The FSA, Free Syrian Army.
There you go.
I learn something new every day. I know the FSA did lose 13 soldiers and fighters in those clashes.
Right.
What's crazy too, I don't know if you guys also saw hitting the headlines here lately, was Russia's pulling out of Syria. Mm-hmm. You guys tracking that?
Yeah, like they've considered, they have like, I think it was Assad's army has gained like 5% ground and Putin's calling it good. I'm not sure what reasoning he has for that. I think maybe it's I know they recently went over their budget, and a lot of Russia's, they're saying they're not taking away anything from the military, but they are not giving more money toward new projects. They're just going to fund what they already have going, but they did pull out of there, so it makes you think about Russia's finances toward that.
I think about all these stories that are coming across the desk, and I can't help but love our country. The fact that we have the ability to live here without 98% of this going on a regular basis,
Absolutely.
Now, we've got the gang issues and the neighborhood issues in like Detroit and Chicago, but this would bring America.
We're not blowing people up.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of Americans take that for granted when they slam the military and what we're doing in foreign policies. It's I personally don't. I absolutely love this country, and I hope that we maintain the peace that we have.
Well, what irritates me is I see these news segments, on morning news like today and all those different shows, that people are complaining about stupid stuff, man. Like
Free college.
yeah, I mean, there's so much out there that people are taking for granted. That seriously, man, you're going to complain about.
Did you get that new iPhone 6?
No,
Yeah.
I still got a flip phone, man. You know, I don't need all that stuff.
I watch Facebook, and I think the same
You
thing.
watch it?
Yeah, well, read it, whatever.
Oh, he reads.
Yeah, sometimes. But no, I watch this stuff, and you're absolutely right. I don't know if you guys noticed this after you guys got home from the military, or even when you're home on leave, or while you're in the military. You look at some of the posts from, per se, civilians that maybe lived a sheltered life, their parents weren't in the military or didn't travel, and some of the things they do complain about are so minuscule. It's
The trivial.
yeah, it is
How
true.
they had
Thank
to
you.
had to sit outside of Target and all these
In a camp.
Yeah.
and camp out and wait on the new Jordans and
it's
the
all
latest
first world
video
problems.
games
Like
and I got to go spend $600 on a brand new phone that does what?
Like my concerns,
It calls people.
either training stateside or actually being deployed was like, hey, is my buddy that's out of the wire right now, is he coming back alive?
Mm-hmm.
Is my roommate coming back, or am I packing his stuff up and having to send it home to his parents? Those were the concerns I had. That and fresh socks.
that flushing toilets.
Yeah.
Toilet paper in general.
Yeah,
Food. What bothered me the most about the deployments is the jellyfish at the bottom of the shower stalls.
Oh,
They don't make flip-flops thick enough for that.
No,
they really don't.
no. Somebody was picking up some kind of funguses and nasty stuff over there.
Yeah, you can pick up a lot of stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, coming up, we're going to taking a quick break. We still got a couple new things here that's coming up, flip side, and we have a new segment that Trouble is going to introduce us. So stick around.
I'm excited.
It's going to be epic.
The U.S. Military All-Stars is embarking on their 26th annual Red, White, and Blue Tour across America. We are the only team playing all active duty and veterans from all branches of the military. We are traveling 12 states this year. We have a call to arms and are looking for players from around the world. We are a non-profit, and we also would like to challenge all veterans and baseball fans to show their support. We honor all veterans that have ever worn a uniform in defense of our freedom. Nobody delivers patriotism better. Go to usmilitaryallstars.com. If you're a player, join us. If you're a supporter, click on Donate. God bless you, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Having someone's back. It's about being there when you're needed.
It's about standing up for those you believe in.
It's about having someone six.
In the military, got your six means I've got your back.
Today, got your six is more than a term.
It's a show of respect for all who served.
A way to bring military veterans and civilians together.
And a way to ensure that they return home to be seen as assets and leaders.
Through jobs, education, housing, and more,
we can support returning military veterans and their families.
To find out how you can help, visit gotyoursix.org today.
I've got your six.
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 Are you a veteran returning from Afghanistan or Iraq and struggling with significant readjustment issues? If you're dealing with the effects of trauma or alcohol or drug abuse, facing marriage difficulties, or wanting to rebuild ties with your children, Peninsula Counseling Center can help and can restore hope to your life. Associate Director Lois Goldsmith.
Our counselors have been working with trauma victims on Long Island for many years, and our programs have proven to make a significant difference in restoring new meaning and satisfaction in their lives.
Counselors use a remarkable therapy called EMDR that has been demonstrated to be an effective and rapid means for healing post-traumatic stress disorder.
Research indicates that the use of this specialized treatment technique can help those suffering experience significant relief in a relatively short period of time.
Peninsula Counseling Center is a New York State licensed nonprofit mental health center. Call them at 516-569-6600 to schedule an appointment. If you're not covered by insurance, services will be free.
All right, welcome back to Black Sheep Bravo. For those of you guys listening, you can also follow us on Twitter at Black Sheep Bravo, and also we're on Facebook. So give us some of your thoughts, some complaints, comments, concerns, feedback. Let us know what you're thinking, and also give us some ideas about future upcoming shows. So, like we did last week, we introduced a new segment, my segment called Stuck on Stupid. So today's Stuck on Stupid segment, we're going to go looking at MPs. We have an MP, a 21-year-old MP specialist from the 385th out of Fort Stewart, Georgia, was looking to hook up. Well, he was trying to find a 15-year-old girl for sex, and when it came to his surprise, he was met by the local sheriff's office.
Was Dateline there?
I don't know. But I was waiting for that guy to pop out and think,
the cameras.
Yeah. So what are you going to do with that bag?
So this guy was an actual military police officer.
He was an MP. Yep.
That is pretty stupid.
Isn't that stupid?
Yeah. So he was met by the sheriff. Did he get arrested?
He got arrested. I mean, come on. I mean, you're soliciting sex from a minor, a 15-year-old. I think that was pretty. I mean, I know we're talking Georgia.
Could you imagine Monday morning formation? What the first sergeant commander had to say?
Where is he at? He's still locked up.
Yeah, he's down at Fort Stewart.
Well, it's not like he probably told anybody either. So
a little public service announcement there to all you folks out there that is looking for sex online. Just make sure you verify the ages.
Why can't we just go to the bar like we used to?
Or the supermarket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the library.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
library. Or church.
Yeah, I've always heard Barnes & Noble's is the good place.
Really?
You know?
Wait a minute, is Barnes & Noble still around?
Barnes & Noble's definitely still around. They're like probably the only bookstore still around, but yes, they're still there.
See, but you can go to Chuck E. Cheese and hook up. Just make sure it's not with the kids. You know, they serve beer there. At least find the single moms.
Yeah.
You know, just go over, play a little skee ball, and talk to mama.
Hey, mama.
But I'm with trouble, though. I mean, I used to go to church specifically just to see the parade of women and say, yeah, there's one. You know, I mean, I grew up Catholic, so, I mean, we had the communion, and that was like a parade of who can I hook up with. So
and you know, there's a lot of standing up and sitting down, so you know who's in shape.
There you go. That is spot on. Spot on. Speaking of keeping in shape here, I want to just throw out this quick announcement. There is a Veterans Museum that is looking to be built here in Northwest Indiana. The Tri-Town Safety Village is looking to build a museum specifically for veterans. It's probably the first one.
This is the first one, isn't it?
The first one in the state. So this is something that's very big. It's going to be held on May 21st. It's going to be a 5K walk, a 5K run, and a 10K run.
If I don't run, how can I help out?
You could just donate. There's a number here that you can call, 219-865-9600. Again, 219-865-9600. If you call and want to donate, they will be happy to take that. If you want to run in it, the pre-registration website is runsignup.com. That's runsignup.com. That's all one word. Again, May 21st, we will be there. So you'll get a chance to meet us live and in person, and get to know the story behind the voices behind Black Sheep Bravo.
So you know I live on a farm and I don't have a phone. Can I go to the local library and Google what's the name of that again?
Absolutely. It is the Tri-Town Safety Village Veterans 3K, 5K, 10-way walk run.
What's the name of the museum again?
The museum is going to be called the Northwest Indiana Tri-Town Safety Village Veterans Museum.
That's a long name.
That is a long name.
They're working on it.
Yeah.
They're working on it.
But I definitely want to check it out. That's awesome.
But the unique thing about the story is there's a teacher there that teaches at Lake Central High School here in Northwest Indiana by the name of Mr. Tom Clark. He has been collecting veteran memorabilia, different things for the past 30 years.
I've met him.
You've met him. Yeah, great guy. Very great guy. He's doing a lot of good work here. And so as fellow veterans ourselves, I want to make sure that this gets up and running. So again, if you have any questions, you could also go to our website, or go to our Facebook page or on Twitter and get some more information from that. So with that, we're going to move on to our home front. Crash, what do you got for us?
For the first time in decades, Americans are actually evenly divided when asked if America has the number one military in the world.
What?
Obviously, no, my opinion swayed. There is nothing better than our military. However, in a recent Gallup poll, they have found that only 49% of Americans believe that our military is ranked number one. And there was a couple different factors in this. Did you guys catch up on the story a little bit?
49%. That's scary.
Well, if you take military spending alone, the most obvious indicator of a nation's power, the U.S. spent over $600 billion on its military in 2014, outspending its closest rivals, China, by nearly $400 billion, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute.
See, and the thing with that is, the story also talks about how far does that dollar go?
Well, right, absolutely,
and that's a huge part of it. Like, how much are they paying their soldiers compared to how much they're paying us?
Well, that's where skeptics are pointing out, and rightfully so, that you can't compare one country's military spending to another without accounting the size of the country and their economic capacity, not to mention differences in labor, materials, production costs. How many strip clubs are funding that military on the strip?
Oh, wow, the driftwood over in Jacksonville.
Wow.
That was a lot. They spent a lot of money there.
Vietnam has got to be the least help for our budget.
Jeez, yeah.
Well, see, I think that part of that right there is more community involvement. You gotta frequent.
You gotta feed the community.
Yeah, you gotta feed the community.
Well, let's go to layman's terms here. If we look at manpower for personnel for 2013, the U.S. had 1,433,150. China has 2,993,000. Where India actually is number 2, has 2,749,700. So when you start taking down numbers and you look at that, money were up there, troop numbers were not. But then you guys have been overseas. You guys have seen the capabilities of some of these other armies.
Well, we're at this point in time, wars are being fought totally different.
Oh yeah.
So you have a big shift from manpower to all the spending in technology.
Yeah.
Like you got drones. The drones are ridiculous. And you know what? You're saving lives by using these drones. And anybody who says that, granted, you can say the man behind the controls is probably going to make a better or different decision than a drone would, but you got a man behind a joystick.
Well, and we have a lot of civilian listeners listening in, and they might not be able to understand or grasp that. So let's paint a little bit better of a picture. If you have a U.S. soldier who's a boot, he's a grunt either in the Marine Corps or in the Army, and he goes through his training, he gets all trained up, and then he does some warfighting exercises, does maybe some peacetime KFOR deployments, keeping the force, peace, Kosovo, Bosnia, whatever. He starts to gain experience. Now, behind that experience is also what they're absorbing is that leadership experience. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whereas, you go to, another country, let's say Jordan, to do a cross-training mission, or you end up, in one of those countries where we're doing a lot of cross-training, you see the skill level is lacking. Have you ever seen an Afghani national soldier trying to do a side straddle hop, a jumping jack for the civilians?
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video out there that'll kind of give you an idea. The other thing I was looking here is some people might look at nuclear warheads. And if you look at nuclear warheads, we are number one in the world, followed by Russia. We have 6,314. Russia has about 6,082. But then you look at North Korea, who claims they have 8. So you start looking at all that. I think one of the possible reasons that only a fraction of Americans have served in the military is part of it. And then also it's a campaign year. Mm-hmm. It's an election year. Foreign policy starts to come in play. So I think a lot of people's perceptions are
up. And it's being talks about a lot more now because of all these candidates trying to say what they're going to do different or what this, that, or the other thing about it. But we're definitely number one. I mean, we may have less soldiers, but our soldiers are better trained, better prepared, more experience. We have better technology, so we don't need as many soldiers.
Right.
So this is the plug for SOCOM to start equipping your guys to piggyback last week's story. Get your guys some frickin' equipment, especially weapons. Yeah. Jesus. We're number one. Let's act like we're number one. That goes for NCOs, non-commissioned officers. That goes for officers. That goes for privates. That goes for private snuffy out there that doesn't even know he wants to join the military yet. My opinion, we're number one. The other 51% of the U.S., Time to wake up.
Here's my problem with the story, though. They gave a lot of good numbers here. And just on the tactical side of my being is that, was this a good idea to give out this information?
Well, it's all available online anyways. It's like we're the worst country at keeping a secret.
Right. But see, it's like you said earlier, we have 6,314 nuclear warheads, whereas Russia has a little over 6,000. Well, now,
I guarantee,
they know that.
I guarantee Putin does not release his real numbers.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm sure we don't either.
Yeah.
Let's not be naive.
I just wanted to make sure for those who are listening.
These numbers that we're reporting on right now are what's officially released from the man behind the curtain.
And that can be, and these stats could be, 2-3 years old, and they're just now releasing it, kind of thing. This is the stats from 2014 or something like that.
And speaking about releasing, it kind of brought up this other story. The VA released and announced some new steps. Spain, you're tracking that story, right?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week about the suicide problem we have in our country. And the VA is starting to step up a little bit more in trying to provide better prevention. They had some pretty good bullet points here. Some of the things that they're doing are they're using predictive modeling to guide early interventions for suicide prevention, which again is just pretty much, jargon to say we're trying to kind of catch the onset before it happens.
Well, they had a summit February 2nd, Preventing Veteran Suicide, a call to action that brought together a lot of stakeholders and leadership to discuss the current plague of veteran suicide, correct?
Right. And the bottom line to the story is having that knowledge. And let's face it, we go to a foreign country, we're not familiar with it, we're told to do a job that the most average Joe wouldn't be able to do, and then we're expected to come back without missing a heartbeat and get on with our lives. And it could be troublesome. The thing that I want to point out here is that, the VA is a remedy. It is a resource, but I think we have to do a little bit of a better job as within ourselves. We have to be able to look at each other, our battle buddies, what have you, family members, and say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on out there? What are you feeling today? And then get them to that help. Because again, the VA can only do so much as long as you get that person there.
Yeah.
Well, the other side is this, and I notice this a lot. We are trained to believe that we're going to overcome any and all obstacles.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to retrain your brain to say, I need help.
Because you're hardwired like that.
You're hardwired to say, I can accomplish, I'm going to get it done.
All right. We're problem solvers.
We're problem solvers, and now we're facing problems, and it's a daunting task.
It's unfamiliar and uncharted water.
Yes, it is.
And besides that, we're also we grew up in the military in this huge show of bravado. You always have to be the biggest guy there and all that, and to come back and start talking about feelings, start talking about just what you're going through that's difficult. You're never supposed to do that in the military. Nothing's hard for you.
That's something it's not even just or trained by the military. The male figures that we've had in our lives. Mm-hmm. It started back then because my dad grew up in the 60s, 70s, and it was a different generation. So they taught us we're men. We're supposed to be. We don't cry. We go to work. We take care of the family. We bring home the bread. We're men. We are men. Yeah. So it's tough to come to the realization that being weak can actually show of strength.
It is. It is a strength.
Some of the key bullet points that came out of that summit, though, was adding additional resources to manage and strengthen their current programs and initiatives. As we all know, the VA is kind of lacking there. There's two or three that really stood out to me here. One was a change in how they're prescribing medications, and then reestablishing a way of collecting proper data. If you don't know how big or complex the program is and you don't have accurate information, how do you begin to even tackle it?
Absolutely.
That's like knowing the problem exists but not understanding what's behind it. My floor's warping, but if you ignore the fact that you've got water spewing out of the dishwater.
Yeah, you can lay down some new floor and you just waste your money.
it's great that the VA is heading this up. It's obviously they're getting hammered by it, by the media, social media, veterans, and then obviously the numbers of veteran suicides. I personally think a huge healing process for these guys, including ourselves, was and is through each other. Finding that battle buddy to connect with, reaching out to a guy that was either deployed with you or experienced similarities that you connect with.
And that's why some of these organizations around here, I mean, they tend to guide those veterans that are in need of help. Hey,
sounds like somebody's going to charge for the wire with that Humvee.
See, that's we're undisclosed location,
classified G14.
But again, I mean, like Crash said it. I mean, if we police ourselves, and not so much even policing, it's more along the lines of, hey man, just checking in. Hey, trouble, man. What's new, man? What's been going on? How you feeling?
Well, keep track on that story.
You got it. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and coming up, we're going to have a new segment introducing to you today. Trouble has something special for you, so stick around. We'll be right back.
From distant beaches to thick jungles, through sandy deserts, over rocky mountains, and even right here at home. Calling for help is one of the things service members and their families do best. So why should life after the military be any different? 1-877-WAR-VETS is a confidential call center for veterans and their families that provides round-the-clock support so you can talk about your military experience or transition home.
We can also answer your questions regarding readjustment counseling, educational benefits, medical services, and any other veteran-specific issue.
As another prepaid benefit earned by your military service, 1-877-WAR-VETS is here to point you in the right direction.
And because everyone here is a veteran or a spouse,
from all eras and branches of the military who use VA services just like you do,
we can say without hesitation, been there, done that. Just like your battle buddies were there for you then, we're here for you now.
Our veterans put everything on the line to protect our freedom. We may never be able to repay them for their sacrifice, but we can show them just how much we appreciate all they've done. Every day, hundreds of people just like you volunteer to help our veterans. You can help by simply sharing your time, lending a warm smile, a supportive hand, or a sympathetic ear to someone who needs it. Everyone can do something to make our veterans know how much we appreciate their service. What will you do?
Welcome back to Black Sheep Bravo. And now, the new segment. The cool segment. The funny segment.
Ooh,
we're going to get into it.
I'm excited.
I'm scared.
Lay it on me, brother.
It's necessary. And once we get into it, you're going to understand. This is now Trouble's Manual Hour.
Manual.
Well, not an hour. But we're gonna get it.
Manual minute.
We're gonna get the Minutemen out of here.
Yeah. Lay it on us.
All right. So this segment is about veterans coming back. You're out of uniform. We're retired. We're out of uniform. We're now back in our civvies. How do we keep up with the latest trends, but not go too far high left where we're looking crazy?
This is like flushing after you poop.
Well, you got to wipe first.
Wipe. That's a new technique to me.
I totally forgot about that.
Somehow he went from poop to straight flush without wiping. All right, so my issue right now for these young men out there is the skinny jeans sag.
Jesus Christ.
Skinny jeans.
I don't get it. I'm near 40. My generation, we started the whole baggy pants thing fine. But at least we put on a belt and we could still run from the cops if necessary. If a fire broke out, I broke out.
The skinny jeans didn't start the fire.
Well, you know what? If they're corduroy, they might have.
There you
But
go.
Wow, now that's a trend they need to bring back.
corduroys,
Oh,
yeah.
Corduroy overalls.
Nope.
I don't know about that now. That's a little warm right there. But seriously, like these guys wearing these skinny jeans and they're trying to sag and tactically, that's horrible thinking because they're trying to portray this image. And then the funny thing is, okay, their image came from, number one, the prison system.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it originated from.
Skinny jeans did or the sagging
The
jeans?
sagging originated from the prison system.
Meant you were free.
The homosexual side of the prison system.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it originated from.
Meant you were available.
Number two, these rappers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I can't stand them.
I think of candy. You mean the music.
We're talking about the music. All right. So the rappers, their claim now is like, I got designer clothes down to my underwear. Oh, that's great and all. Don't care. But then their thing was, well, I got to show you that I have designer.
Clean underwear on?
Hopefully clean. Hopefully clean. And then they're designer.
Well,
so
you
you're
don't
talking
use toilet
about
paper,
so a pair of Versace underwear. I wonder, probably $100.
Can I get those at Farm and Fleet? Tractor Supply?
The Versace. Yeah, you could probably get those, but not the Versace.
Yeah.
So you're talking about probably $100 pair of underwear, number one. So their idea is, I'm going to show you my $100 underwear. Fine, whatever. You got expensive underwear on. But now you got these local guys don't have no $100 underwear. They have a $5 pack and you get 50.
The Dollar General.
You got the Dollar General pack.
Where the elastics are running out.
Right. And then the skid marks are everywhere. And my daily job as of right now is basically I'm secure. I do security, and I spend a lot of time telling guys to pull their pants up. And what kills me is they look at me like I said something wrong.
All right, so let me ask you a real serious question.
I'll lay it on me.
So if you had a choice,
Mm-hmm.
would it be looking at sagging pants or the skinny jeans? Because both bother me, but the skinny jeans, I feel like, where's your manlyhood?
I feel there's a health risk there,
No, there legitimately is a health risk because when you are clutching the manhood, the jewels, you're running the risk of a lower sperm count, legitimately. Now, if your whole point is to suffocate them till no kids are possible, drink Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Well,
But
I want to see like a study done that proves that skinny jeans cause like testicular cancer or something like that,
You know what? And the problem is I guess we're still in early phases of this fad. And
hopefully it disappears really fast.
What's going to disappear is their manhood, number
So
one.
episode number one of the
their
manual.
girlfriend,
Tip
number two.
So what's your tip?
So tip number one is protect your tip. And if you're going to wear skinny jeans, don't sag. You look stupid. Number one, you're doing the penguin walk.
Or just go to Tractor Supply and buy a normal pair of jeans like every other man in the U.S.
And if you're going to do a skinny jean, your skinny jeans should not be tighter than your girlfriend's jeans.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if your man is wearing skinny jeans, you have a girlfriend.
Get into her pants. Don't get into her pants.
I do shop a lot at Tractor Supply and Farm and Fleet, but I do like the jeans from the Buckle. Are those acceptable in the manual?
From the who?
The Buckle. It's a store.
It's a what?
A store.
I don't know who they
Those
are.
are big Texas belt buckles or something?
No, I get those online.
That's the store that has all the like the bedazzled stuff on the jeans.
Some of them, yeah, but like they have regular jeans as well.
Now,
you got to go beyond the bedazzled section.
Speaking of the shiny bedazzled jeans.
Oh, here we go. Manual tip number two.
The manual tip number two. All right. If your designer of your jeans literally says that I'm a homosexual and I made these jeans for other homosexuals and you're wearing these jeans, I'm literally confused by you. I don't know where to
So you have gender issues?
Don't know what team you're batting for.
You know what? I don't get it.
Is that an Army uniform or a Navy uniform?
You know what? That's a special Navy uniform going on there.
Yeah, there you go.
Now the other issue I got going on right now and it's a big. It's not a big issue. It's definitely growing on me. The man buns.
Oh Jesus!
If I see,
if you're not a samurai,
if you're not,
if you're not a samurai,
that's a big one.
Then lop it off.
Or if you've never been in a fight before in your life, you should not be
this is the
wearing
thing. Now, if it's tactically an advantage to have your hair in a bun, so wait a minute, I'm just gonna grab you by the bun, and pull your head to my kneecap. So you actually are at a disadvantage already.
But think about it. Like, have you seen the advertisements? They make fake ones. Yeah, like man bun weaves.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Why? What has happened to society?
So what is going on here?
Like, what TV shows are these people watching? Is this in the video games? Is this in the movies? Like, where do they get this crap?
They see, like, Anakin Skywalker with his little, like, flea, and then they're like, yeah, I want to be a Jedi.
Like, where do the skinny jeans come in? Like I think about that, and I think to myself, a guy was in desperate need, threw on a pair of old jeans, because even though they didn't fit, like, ran out of his house somewhere, and somebody said, wow, that looks good. I'm going to do that the rest of my life. I'm going to wear skinny jeans.
Now, initially, when they first started wearing these skinny jeans, I didn't mind it because it weren't like overly skinny, and I didn't see underwear.
Now they're spandex. Oh yeah, because they got the low waist now.
Oh, don't get me started on yoga pants though.
No, that's hot.
That's hot.
Yeah. On chicks.
If that ever goes,
on chicks.
If that ever
let me be
goes
clear
away,
on that. Let me be clear.
Yeah, which is true. You got to be clear because
yoga pants on
there's
women.
There's some confusion out there.
Most women
between these man buns and these sagging jeans. The question is, who do you blame? And me personally, I blame everybody. I blame there's an older generation out there that are dressing exactly the same way as these 20-year-olds, which it's
identity confusion or what is
could
it?
Be, yeah.
It's
midlife crisis.
It's past a midlife crisis. They're at the end of their life and still trying to, like last night at work, this guy gets drunk and well, no, I'm gonna go. I don't know.
Do we
if I
need
can
to tell that story?
No. We'll leave
that
that story.
You know it's going to be a good story.
Hey, basically, it ended badly. He lost money and the women that was hanging out with him, and
great tips for the week.
Yeah. No man buns.
No man buns.
That goes with immerse, and if you're with immerse and you have man bun,
if you're not a samurai,
who's
on a bicycle in a Tour de France. Lose the man bun and the spandex jeans.
Right.
That's the man tip of the day.
Pull up your pants. Belts are not out of style.
What happened like the hand of God? Do you remember that as a kid? My dad was not afraid to give me the hand of God if I walked out of the house in something that was considered appropriate dress wear. I think that's the problem with society right now. It's like, where's the parents? You got to think.
Man, that's the thing. The parents can't do anything anymore. Society, or however it developed, You can't lay a single finger on your kids anymore because the kids are getting smart enough to be like, oh, they abused me, blah 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 blah, and then now the state is suing or taking away the children from parents, so now the parents are afraid to actually do anything.
You know where this started? You know when this started? After they took out the Pledge of Allegiance from schools.
I don't know. See, I asked my son if they do the Pledge of Allegiance at his school, and they do. So I don't know.
It's certain schools, but it is not.
Is it a private school?
Somehow it's not like mandatory anymore. But they took it out.
Like where we live down on the farm, there's a small town right down the road from us, a couple minutes, and we were invited to the Veterans Day ceremony. We went out there. I was almost in tears. It's the first time in a long time at a school that I heard an entire class recite the Pledge of Allegiance, the Star-Spangled Banner, and they were like passionate about it. So I asked the principal afterwards, I'm like, do you guys do this every day? I miss that part of Americanism, our fundamental roots and patriotic roots for this country. Everybody's so touchy-feely, just offended by everything. And she's like, no. We dare somebody come in here and tell us to do anything else.
I agree. And I'm part of my son's Cub Scout pack, and so we always do. With the Cub Scouts, you always do the Pledge of Allegiance before you start any kind of meeting, which I think is a good supplement for the schools that don't do it, so that they do learn it. Because most of the kids starting out, none of them knew it. So it was good.
That is an absolute travesty.
And I don't like the Cub Scouts at all. They're going downhill too. But that's one of those things that they have held on to that is very important.
So politics has hit the 6-year-old scene at the Cub Scouts?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It stinks.
Well, let's get into this next story. Did you guys tracking this? Russia releasing a lethal T-14 Armada tank.
Yeah, it's in production.
I thought they were broke.
No.
I mean, they don't keep the heat on, but they can get a new tank out there.
Yeah, well, it's in a battle tank at that. This thing's supposed to be the cream of the crop. It's equipped with interceptor rounds. It's got all kinds of tech gadgets on it.
Firepower has a new 2A82 1M 125 millimeter. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. But I'm sure in Russian it looks much more sexier. But man, that's sounds like some pretty big firepower.
You know what? I'd like to get a grizzly vet, a tanker
to give his thoughts
on this because
yeah,
you know what?
Hey.
You know what? Let's put that out to the public.
Let's put it out there.
I've read a few other articles on this, and they're actually saying that this new tank is faster than the Abrams.
No,
really?
That I gotta see.
Yeah,
that I gotta see.
And you know what?
I was gonna ask that next. What in comparison, military power? What can this be the equivalent of, or what can this outperform on all aspects?
Well, why don't we here on Black Sheep Bravo do a promotional thing where we go this Sunday, we got the tanks, the Russian tanks, and let's put these tanks
something like
tank
that.
Rescue, yeah.
But I definitely want to hear from our audience.
Yeah, if you're a tanker, crusty, new, old, doesn't matter. If you're a tanker with legitimate experience and you're well versed in the tank warfare, hit us up on Twitter or hit us up on Facebook. If you don't have either of those, email us, blacksheepbravo@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Read up, get versed up on the T-14 before you reach out to us. None of us are really experienced, well-versed in the subject matter. It is an interesting article. It's interesting to see that Russia has the energy or the desire to start equipping themselves with new technology.
Right, and what I want to know? I want to know why Russia is making a new tank, because they learned firsthand experience for when they went into Afghanistan that tanks will not work in that kind of combat. So what kind of conventional war are they gearing up for that they know because tanks are really only useful in a conventional warfare. So what conventional war are they prepping for?
That's a good question.
Well, yeah, and that whole Armada family has like the T-15, the T-16, the quote-unquote the tank killer. It's all heavy-duty assault armored vehicles that Russia absolutely uses as propaganda. They're really proud of it. The firepower has a new 2A82-1M 125 Mike gun, which is mounted in an unmanned turret. So an unmanned turret, obviously the technology's there as well.
And I guess evidently there is some footage of this tank. So maybe if you Google it, you might be able to see this tank in action.
Google. To the Google.
Get to the Google.
I mean, I'd definitely like to see what this thing can do on land, if it can do anything in the water. I'd definitely love to see it up against an Abrams.
Oh, yeah.
Well, speaking of water, it looks like the Navy's got a new toy.
Ooh.
What do you think about that, Trouble?
Oh, let's see.
More sheep?
More sheep. $13 billion. A U.S. aircraft carrier is about to hit the open seas. Now, when you're talking about money for a shiny new toy,
$13 billion.
$13 billion.
Billion with a B.
With a big B. And Kim Jong-un is saying, what?
Yeah. Keep talking, little guy.
Do you see our shiny new toy?
We're coming for you.
The thing's 90,000 tons and can house 4,500 people. That's a lot. That's a
lot of angry people.
That's a city.
That's a small city.
I bet it has two zip codes.
It could launch aircraft every 45 seconds, which is 25% faster than its steam counterpart. So we're talking advancement here in our U.S. Navy.
And also it said, I'm looking at it saying this alone saves the Navy more than $4 billion in ownership costs over each ship's 50-year life. So this is just one in the long line of new shiny toys that are coming. And Kim Jong-un I'm gonna take out Manhattan.
Well, speaking of Korea with the nuclear, this thing's got 2 Bechtel A1B nuclear reactors, each capable of producing 300 megawatts of electricity. I want to hook my stereo up to this thing and just see what's going to happen.
That's a party boat right there.
That's a party boat from hell.
Yeah. I wonder if, the subdeck's, it's got to have, a tiki bar. It's got to have kegerators. It's got to have...
You know what I want? I bet you the whole reason they're putting all this money into this new aircraft carrier is because this whole dealing with the South China Sea right now. Because China just made their own large aircraft carrier as well.
Wow.
Well, and again, the name of this, if you guys want to look this up later, it's the USS Gerald R. Ford. So you can probably take a look at that whenever you get a chance.
And apparently it's it has some pretty cool stuff on it. Futuristic armaments, such as the free electron lasers and dynamic armor. It's, these lasers, I guess, fire for a few dollars per shot. I don't know if Star Wars has some competition.
So G.I. Joe basically came to life.
Yeah, I think the military, I think all the militaries globally are basically watching Hollywood and saying, "What's next for us?"
How do we do that?
How do we make that?
I wonder if the Navy is starting to see more recruitment because of this new toy.
I don't know. I mean,
you know what? I would almost consider it. I'll make a special return.
Yeah, I like to ask some of these recruiters.
You just want to don't hump the laser.
I'm still waiting for RoboCop to come out.
What are you talking about? RoboCop came out.
Yeah? No.
2014.
The real thing.
The real thing. The real thing. Like you see those new robots they're talking that walk and talk, or not talk, but necessarily they walk and move like humans. Have you seen those videos?
I have, yeah. That's creepy looking.
You can keep the RoboCop. Give me an Iron Man suit. I'm good.
Oh, there you go.
I want to fly. I just want to fly.
Very nice.
So hey, I got to bring this up. I know this wasn't on our list of to do today, and I know we were talking about North Korea. There's another topic that just I know you guys are following as well. North Korea's just sentenced an American student to 15 years of hard labor. 21 years old, kid goes to university. He's an American. You guys tracking this one?
Yeah, I just thought better him than me. For one, I wouldn't be visiting that country, and two, hey, yeah, you kind of knew what you were getting yourself into by going there in the first place. So
and I'll never understand how people just go to these countries where they don't like us. So stay out.
Why? Why would you even do that?
Because he thinks he can get away with it.
Yeah,
but he didn't.
All for stealing a banner.
A banner.
We'll touch base on this story again next time. I can't believe they've got him on hard labor.
I can't fathom.
So tune in again. We're going to have another show next week. So keep us in your thoughts, and look us up on TuneIn. Look us up on Facebook and on Twitter. As for Black Sheep Bravo, I'm Spaniard,
Crash,
Trouble,
and Max,
and have a good one.
Black Sheep Bravo Radio was recorded in Northwest Indiana. The show is produced and directed by Max Bose and hosted by Paul, Albert, and Tony. Until next time, smoke 'em if you got 'em.